So I thought I would just quickly show you the interface. So this is R Studios, not R itself. I am using a Mac, so it might look a little bit different on your Windows or any other, like what you're using, Linux or whatever. So this is your console, your terminal, your jobs. Over here you'll see your data, and here's like your help, files, plots, packages finder. So to open a new file, I always say new file, and I say new R markdown thing. You can change your title, EKN 325. There's the author. I choose PDF option and I click OK. So now it will give me the basic setup for how to create your R markdown document with your code in between. It tells you where to get more details, how to include plots. This is indicating that you're using R code. You have to name it something and you can't duplicate your names. But I want to open the RMD that I made for you guys. So firstly, you can use this as a sort of template, obviously adjusted to yours. So your title, your subtitle, your name, and this thingy indicates that you're making a footnote, that this is your affiliation and your email account. This sets your date and time to be automatic. You can change that. I like indicating a side color blue, but it's only possible because I'm using where's that package? It's NatBib or something like that. It's the LaTeX version. It's somewhere in here. Yeah, here it is. Site package NatBib, and I downloaded this APA CLS file. It's not working as I want it to work right now, but I'll figure it out. If I don't use NatBib, this APA works, but then my citations aren't in blue, and I like my in-text citations to be in blue. I'm telling it to, yes, include a figure caption. I'm telling it to also make a LaTeX file of this so that I can compile it in LaTeX or in R Markdown. And I'm indicating that this is my bibliography, that they should use this file to construct my reference list. I'm telling it to include all of these packages in my header. I usually just copy and paste this between new things. So I would copy all of this, paste it in this one, and start including all of these setups. This is just like all of what I want my code to be like, my text with, and then I don't know what this means, but I include it in any case. Then this is libraries. You need to install all of these libraries. You literally like you install packages, CableNet dependencies true, or then but CableNet doesn't work in my R has some problems, so that's why it's commented out with the hash. The hash usually without with a space includes is like a title or like a section heading, but in the comments and in the R code section, because we indicated that there, it's a comment, and then we ended it there. So I'm asking it to use all of these packages. If you don't call on a package, it won't use it. Some of these aren't necessary. Stargazer is necessary, Haven is necessary, Tidyverse is necessary, Cable Extra, ggplot, Plotly, all of these below are necessary. I just add them as I go along. I don't tend to take out here. Then I'm starting my R Markdown document with my first section heading. I'm telling you guys this. The stars indicates that I want this in italics. If I use 2 stars on each side, it would give me bold. Now, this section is where I am importing my data. I'm using a tab. It's the worst possible data set you can use for R is tab limited data. It loves CSVs. tabs, it doesn't work so well with it, so that's why we run into problems later on. But again, I'm setting up my data section, I'm ending this code chunk. I like to break it up into chunks because then you can run the specific chunk right there and it will run it. And you see it's working something, and now boom, there's my data. I can click on this over here and my data will open and I can see what it looks like. It's generally formatted pretty well, so I don't need to change that much to it. Okay, now I'm just running summary statistics just to see what it looks like, but this doesn't format it nicely. It gives it like this. It's ugly, right? You don't want it included in text. That's why I commented it out, but I can still see it in my markdown document. Then I decided I want to use Stargazer, which is a package that makes it latex, and I want to make a table with my summary statistics just to see what my data looks like. All of these headings I added manually. You do not have to. You can, if you just leave it out, it will use the headings you used in your data. So it will use all of these headings. So now it's automatically including the LaTeX table in my document afterwards, and it will not, like, it will update every time I change anything in the data. But I did name this SA1, so that's the chunk, that's the object that I'm using, and I'm piping it, and I'm deselecting time. The minus indicates deselecting time because of the way we imported it from tab. It will take time as a variable and include that in the summary statistics, and I don't want that. If you want to select something, you don't include the minus. So I created a new data set, SA2 drop, so that it can use SA2 drop to use this. So because you want to use time in my other analysis. Then I just made a simple graph. I'm indicating R. I didn't name it this time, but I did indicate that I wanted to, this as my caption, and I want my figure to be centered. Then I'm indicating that I'm using SA1 as my data set. I want to use ggplots, and I want X to be my time variable and Y to be my GDP per capita. I'm using this theme. If you don't use it, it's gray in the background, and I want my Y label to be this. I haven't figured out why this is so fuzzy in the PDF, but it is. Okay, next, something went wrong with the data, so I just reread it in again, and then I just made a prettier figure using, again, I called upon a library that I didn't include in my top one. Called upon another library. This is just code that I literally took from that R website. Where is it? It's somewhere here. Yeah, this website. It's literally, it gives you code for any figure that you want. So you want something like this, circular packing. I don't know why you would want this. Maybe you want it. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to see the code for it. And they are nice. They give us comments. And I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to adapt it to work in mine. Okay. And then I just needed to change the levels over here because it was a little bit smaller than I wanted it to be. So that it indicated nicely, and I indicated over here that I wanted to pull only time, and I wanted to pull only GDP per capita, time is years in this case, to use in this plot. So that's why it's a little bit finicky, but yeah. Then the correlation matrix, again, I'm indicating my code. I'm indicating that I wanted to use these variables to make the correlation. I indicated that I wanted to have stars. I cannot figure out why it's not using stars yet. I will figure that out on a later date. but I'm using Stargazer, so my table is nicely in there. Then my correlation graphs, literally just use the same thing from that code database, that graph database, and I indicated again that I wanted to be using SA1 data and this variable and SA1 data for investment variable, and I wanted to include a line, a regression, a linear line indicating the relationship. Then over here, I was like, okay, cool. That graph was really basic. Let's make it prettier. Let's use ggplots2 to make the graph, and same thing. And then you have to call these things different, like two. And if you make this line, this one two-way blah blah blah, and two-way and three two-way, if you make this long, it will show up as a hash underneath your graph in your document. So if it's shorter, it doesn't show up. And then you just have your caption. It will label your figures, it will number your figures by itself. In this one, I just wanted it to use my time variable to have different colors between my, what do you call it, my dots, so that it would indicate that year 2013 is this color and year 1990 is this color, so that I can see a difference between where the years lie. You can use any variable really that to indicate this. If I run it, you'll see over here, if I run it, it will just it will pull it up and I can see it. And over here you can indicate what size you want it. Say you want it to be a 3. We can just rerun it again, and now my dots are a little bit bigger. You see? Okay, this is a heading. You have to have a space between it, and you have to have a space above and below whatever code chunk you're having, otherwise it's not going to show up. This is a subheading, subheading. Okay, to insert equations, an easy way without having it numbered is just having a double $sign, and then you use LaTeX language to just type out your equation. You see, if you want to have your equation in between your text, it's just $1 after each thing. If you want to have a numbered equation, you have to state begin equation, end equation. And then this is the referencing. So in my bib file, which is this thing, I don't want it to open through Zotero. Cancel. Quit Zotero. I don't like it. Open with, I just wanted to open with my text editor so that I can see it. I copied this all from Google Scholar. So, and you can change this. So literally all I have to do to cite this paper is copy that and include it in a cite T or a cite, I don't think I have the cite P in here. But the cite P is for the end of a sentence, so when you want to cite after a sentence, or alternatively, if you can just use this at as well. But I find I use a mixture between both of them. Let me quickly show you where to get that in Google Scholar. So in Google Scholar, we will open it. I will say none 2011 because that's the only thing I think of. I want to say cite, but now I want to use the bib text instead of this. So I'm gonna copy this, open a text file and save it as a .bib extension and paste it in here and save it the whole time, and then I can call upon it over here. And then I just say hash references and I just use this and it will automatically populate my reference list. So now I'm just gonna knit this to show you what we've got when it runs everything and creates the PDF document. You see it has some little thingies. The thing is, you have to install a lot of packages and a lot of things before it works. So I hope that other document will help you. So here we have it automatically. This is nice and formatted. It's already justified. It uses a specific thing. It's already numbered my sections. Here I have my nicely formatted descriptive statistics. The reason I found out that it used years the previous time is that it had two trade thingies at the bottom, and this massive number was at primary school enrollment, and I was like, that does not make sense. So you need to know your data. You see this is a little bit fuzzy, this caption, this Y label. I don't like that. That's why I altered the graph to look like this. You can obviously not have these colors in. You can do whatever you want. It's telling us that we used this package Stargazer. Again, to make the correlation matrix table nicely formatted. This correlation graph, it's a bit basic, you know, like I don't like the way it labels the axes, but I think you can change that when you go into the settings. Then this one is a bit nicer labeled, and then this one is my favorite because it tells me that these are 2010, this is 1960s, like this is like older years, this is newer years, this is where the investment lies. I like that a bit more. It gives me a little bit more context. And then as you can see, equations are inserted, numbered equation is inserted. You can cite normally, but it doesn't make it blue. I like the blue. If I call on it, it takes me to this reference. It has like, you know, it's nice. But that's basically it. So now if I exit this, it will just be in my file as a normal PDF. It will just saved it as a normal PDF, and I have it all nice and done. But you need to have latex packages installed for this to run the way it needs to run. So whatever latex I use, a latex that's specifically for Mac. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this quickly on how to get from here to here. Cool.